I want you guys to do something for a second. Go back to as far as you can think. Even young people, Gen Z, you're welcome to participate in this as well. But people from my generation, people in their 40s and 50s and older, right, Gen Xers, I want you guys to think as far back as the 60s, 70s, 80s, what has been going on when you are given a view of anybody who's from Africa, from the continent of Africa. Because it's not fair to say Africans, because Africa is made up of a lot of different countries. It's just not one big lump sum. However, the media has always portrayed Africa as this shithole, as what Trump has described it as in the past, shithole countries, right? Third world countries, when it is so far from the truth. Every single documentary I've seen on Africa, the continent, has told me otherwise. That this continent is so rich in resources and valuable resources that the white colonial powers want, that it has become one of those things where you have to question, is it Africa that is poor, or is it the people who have taken over and used and exploited the people in Africa that has made it poor? Because when I see pictures like this on Time, and even the wording, and I think people really need to pay attention to wording. Why are Ethiopians starving again? What should the world do and not do? Think of the way that is written, right? And this is why one of the most important classes you could ever take in the world is critical thinking, right? Philosophy, those type of courses in college, because it helps you understand these conversations and the type of rhetoric that is used around these very delicate issues, because these are issues that are talking about people, human lives. This is a child, a mother, and they choose to exploit these people, not just in taking their land, taking their resources, but also showing us on covers of magazine, showing us in commercials. And this is why I'm asking you to think back. When have they ever painted Africa in a way that seems prosperous, that seems intelligent, that seems like a bunch of people that know what they're doing and have control over their own autonomy? Never. And right now, when I see videos cropping up on TikTok and other platforms, which TikTok, by the way, will give you more of the opposing view. If you go to other platforms, you will not get to see other opposing views to what is happening. You will only see what the mainstream wants you to see. And so I think it's interesting that TikTok allows it, because TikTok is a Chinese run app. Let's just make no qualms about that. I mean, they've tried to say they're not, they're Singapore, that they're based out of the United States, but that's neither here nor there. We understand that its parent company is Chinese owned. So it leads me to believe, why are they allowing why? We got to ask questions in life. Critical thinking. Why are they allowing for creators such as myself and others to explore topics around the Democratic Republic of Congo and the Sudan and all of the African countries, talking about the exploitation of gold, the exploitation of cobalt, other valuable resources, diamonds, rare diamonds that you will never find anywhere else? Why are they allowing that when many of the mining companies that are currently in Congo right now, but paying for that mined cobalt, are Chinese-run companies? You know, I did a little research, and it's a lot of Chinese-run companies that are buying up these resources and then selling them to bigger companies like Elon Musk's company. You know, you don't think his car runs needing some of these same types of cobalt? You know, you think you're doing good by buying an electric vehicle. You think you're doing good by, saying, okay, I'm not going to vape anymore because vaping requires certain types of minerals and stuff that they need. And so I'm going to just boycott all these things, when in the end, it would take so many of you to boycott these things. And you have to ask yourself realistically, are you going to give up your phone? I'm recording on a phone right now. Are you going to give up all these expensive tech things that you have in your house? Probably not. You're not going to give up your MacBook. You're not going to give up your phone, and you're not going to give up all of the things that you want. So what is to be really done about these issues, right? And I only say this because there was an article I came across, as well as just me doing my own critical thinking, using my thinking hat, not having to be a person in this space, but understanding public relations, understanding a brand, understanding what people say their company brand is and what they do are two completely different things. These people, when they have these huge web pages talking about sustainability and doing the right thing and investing in products that are sustainable, it's all cockamamie bullshit. All right. It's all crap that you could throw out the window, because nothing you're going to get from the earth that is like a mineral or anything like this is going to be an easy thing to do unless you're willing to put a little bit of money into it. And one of the biggest things about this, when you watch the story about the cobalt mining, what these kids are doing, the biggest thing is that it's being run by child labor. People are getting a pittance of a money, meaning they're not even getting a pound. All right. These children are not being paid enough to even eat. Some of them are going 2-3 days without food. So when you see that time cover of kids starving in Ethiopia, it takes you right back to this perpetuation that we see of them painting the narrative of African peoples, African children not being intelligent. They're having to work labor from the time they're 4 or 5 until since they can walk, is what one video said. So we have to ask ourselves, how do we get away with this? How do we get away with this? Is the people in charge. The people in charge that are running these labor camps, right? Abducting children, taking them from their mothers and making them forced labor and things like that. All these people doing these evil things are the ones that are higher up, and they are the ones getting paid greatly, rewarded greatly for giving big tech the items or the resources they need to continue making your iPhones. So we're not going to get rid of iPhones. We're not seeing some people have given up vaping and different things. But the bigger question here is, who do we hold accountable? Because people love to blame it on the people that are in that country, like the presidents, the prime ministers, and things like that. But as you and I have seen just in the last 2023, our government is not being run by the person that we see in office. It's a puppet regime, as it is in much of the world right now. Everywhere you look is puppet regimes. We need to really ask ourselves, who is running things? Who is running things, right? One of the things I have to say is when I see the tech people coming forward, right? These tech billionaires and stuff, I start to question if these people are even real people, right? Look at this guy, Ela Sutskever. I can't say his name. Sutskever. He's one of the big chief scientists at OpenAI, right? But look at this guy's face. I mean, I'm not really a conspiracy theory. I really do believe that you need to have some facts or something to solidify your thought processes. But a part of me wants to believe that we might already be taken over by aliens. And when I say aliens, I mean otherworldly beings, extraterrestrials, people that are not of this planet, people who don't really align with our thinking, that don't have the same humanity that we have. Do you remember when they said, it's so many books I've read, but most people will agree that this is a slave planet. This is a slave planet. We've seen it in the theories about the Anunnaki. We've seen it in the theories of books by Dolores Cannon and all these other authors that have talked about Earth being a slave planet. I feel like we're really getting there. I believe that all these things are being mined for AI. I mean, it sounds really crazy, right? And I know I'm not crazy, but I truly believe there's something around AI as being the next step where we're not going to be like, industrial nation, then technology. We're going to go into another dimension, another dimension completely. Not just 5G, but extremely high-tech stuff. and a lot of people are going to be left behind and made into slaves.